You're not a color. And if you can get that in your mind, this movement, and then think about that on that level, and just think about this movement, this motivation to change, and just go right on to the next level. But you guys were on a good point.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That kind of inspired me to reiterate this. Um, oh, by the way, Atimu has a court case on the 25th, and it's a Thursday. We'll be up there. It's in Santa Ana. Um,
Oh,
but we're gonna talk about that on Sunday when we go to the temple.
okay.
But to piggyback, or not piggyback, but to kind of reinforce kind of what we were talking about, what you looked at last night,
Mm-hmm.
different remedies and ways to counteract or to go about that situation different than the picketing and the looting and the emotional aspect that Razir was talking about. If
Mm-hmm.
people had the consciousness of things like this, Organization of American States, then the people that have been misclassified as black, Negro, colored, Hispanic, and Latino would not feel as pressure because they would know the rules of the game and they would apply it different, um, such as, you know, exercising their rights in court or
Mm-hmm.
city hall. So here's a brief overview of what or Organization of American States. This is the acronym. The Organization of American States is the world's oldest regional organization dating back to the first International Conference of American States held in Washington, D.C. from October 1889 to April 1890. The meeting approved and established the International Union of American Republics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you all remember, we went over Republic in the Black's Law Dictionary, and that is talking about where the people are electing their own officials. And an example of that will be the Venezuelan Republic. So the Venezuelans are the mayors, the governors, they control the politics on their own land. That, when that takes place, that form of government is a republic. So the Union of American Republics,
Mm-hmm.
not a democracy, right? It's a republic from
Right. Okay.
not a democracy style government. And the stage was set for the weaving of a web of provisions and instructions that came to be known as the Inter American System, the oldest international system. The OAS came into being in 1948 with the signing in Bogota, Colombia, of the Charter of the OAS, which entered into force in December 1951. It was subsequently amended by the Protocol of Buenos Aires, signed in 1967, which entered into force in February 1970. The Protocol of Cartagena de Indias, signed in 1985, which entered into force in November 1988 by the Protocol of Managua, signed in 1933, which entered into force in January 1996, and by the Protocol of Washington, signed in 1992, which entered into force in September 1997. The organization was established in order to achieve among its member states, as stipulated in Article 1 of the Charter, in order to in order of peace and justice, to promote their solidarity and to strengthen their collaboration and to defend their sovereignty, their territory integrity, and their independence. Today, the OAS brings together all 35 independent states of the Americas and constitutes the main political, juridical, and social governmental form in the hemisphere. In addition, it has granted permanent observer status to 69 states, as well as the the European Union. So let's look at what these states are. So the states we're about to look at are all American states, right? So keep that in mind, and they all are promoting solidarity and respecting territorial integrity, and in respecting their independence, and to defend their sovereignty. Keep these things in mind. All these people, all these nations are American states, right? Antigua, Barbuda, Argentina, Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Grenada, Guatemala, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, I can't pronounce that, Peru, St. Nis and Nevis, St. Lucas. But you get the point, Trinidad and Tobago's, United States of America, right? Venezuela.
Wait a minute. Okay, so all individual Americans have ratified the OSCE Charter. Okay, so are you saying the United States is just a state? Why does the rest of the states or not like have states behind it? Because these are not.
But remember, what is a state? A group of people bound together by common law in an organized body, right?
Yes.
So these are just people, organized people. All these are states.
Okay, right, okay.
The United States is a state too, right? But they're a group of Europeans organized, and they call it their body politic the United States of America. So that's a state.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So now all these are Americans. Now they're not Americans, but they're a state. And the reason this state is on American soil is based on the treaty. That's why this state is here. But all these other, now look at these other states. All these are American states. This is all Mexico, Central and South America states. Canada, North America, right? Cuba, the islands. All these is on American soil. All these states on the continent of America.
Yeah.
North, Central, and South, including the islands.
North, Central, and South, right, including the islands.
All these are American states. So if this is the case, why are these states, state of Latino, green card, you can get deported?
Oh, Ecuador, El Salvador.
You're gonna get deported. You're an immigrant. Why? Because this state says so? Is that what's going on?
Oh, wow.
Guatemala, you need a green card. Illegal immigrant. You see what I'm saying? But these are American states. Belize,
Wow.
Ain't got papers. Ain't got papers. You from Brazil? Ain't got papers.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? All these.
How does the United States be able to control all of that as far as making the law based upon you saying these are 35 independent states of the Americas have ratified a charter. So under this charter, how does the United States go outside this charter to be able to be in control to make the rules like that? Is that the right? Am I asking the question right?
That's an excellent question, and it's some multiple elements. But for one, in North America, what the General Education Board, John D. Rockefeller program, they teach that it was Indians here, Pilgrims found these people, they were massacred, pushed back, and they pressed the 14th Amendment as what grants citizenship to this state, but they've dumbed the people down to think a state is an invisible border and not a group of people bound together by common law, like we know in the Black's Law Dictionary, fourth edition, to what a state is. Just a national. We're trained. The 14th Amendment citizen, United States citizen, is trained to think, oh, now I'm in Nevada, now I'm in Texas when I travel so far, type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have people tricked that when they come to North America, that they're no longer in America, they're in the United States. It's not North America no more. They don't. These other states don't identify with them being at home because they've been tricked to think you need to be naturalized by the 14th Amendment and be granted citizenship to come up north. Because, just the competency really, because it's public record that the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional. And matter of fact, we got it certified from the Library of Congress. And that's some of the things we use for it. Because if the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional, you can't be a citizen of the United States. So that means the whole ICE element. But all this comes back to just the competency of the people knowing this information.
Wow. Wow. So the United States gotten all of these countries just swindled to thinking that this is okay, how they came and just took a country.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, the people that run to here are trying to escape the pressure of their homeland. Like it might be tanks and stuff like that, or holy wars or whatnot. But 9 times out of 10, the people that they're coming to, 9 times out of 10 cause the turbulence in their homeland.
Wow.
But they were maybe called the French or the British or something like that.
Interesting. So now, what are you saying? So this is a charter that all the Republic states know about, and how often? Okay, so is this something that is still in occurrence? Can you scroll back up to when you were reading the definition? Oh, when you were reading I guess the who we are. Yeah, this right here. So what, okay, after dissecting all of this information, can you just break down from reading this, what was the purpose of doing this, coming together like this, or creating this organization? 'Cause in 1948, what was the purpose?
So in the first paragraph, it sums it up. So the Organization of American States is the world oldest regional organization dating back to the first International Conference of American States held in Washington, D.C. from the 1889 to April 1890. That meeting approved the establishment of the International Union of American.
Oh, okay.
So all those 35 American states that we read off formed a union.
Okay.
And had a collective agreement to. Okay, so the organization was established in order to achieve among the member states, as stipulated in Article 1 of the Charter. So we'll have to go to the Charter, so we'll look to see. Matter of fact, we can do that next. The organization was established in order to achieve among the member states, as stipulated in Article 1 of the Charter, an order of peace and justice to promote their solidarity, to strengthen their collaboration, and to defend their sovereignty, their territorial integrity, and their independence. So it's to strengthen all that.
Oh, so basically, each one of those states have their own, since they are their own states, are they republics? Are they also republics?
Yep.
They're republics. So they are defending the fact that they have absolute sovereignty in their state. If they're born of that state, they're sovereign to that state.
Well, not about born, but it's about if if those nationality of people that form those states.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a committee created to further strengthen those ties.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a plus for us then, right?
Right, right. That's fine.
That's a plus for us. Okay. So is this recognized? Would this be recognized? This charter at the United Nations, or
This is
will we
right.
have?
This is on that type of level. It's an international
Mm-hmm.
type of deal. So this would be the charter. Um, it's the first time I'm reading this. As amended by the Protocol of Amended to the Charter of the Organization of American States, Protocol of Buenos Aires, signed on February 27, 1967, at the Third Special Inter-American Conference, by the Protocol of Amendment to the Charter of the Organization of American States, Protocol of Cartagena de. Oh, I read this earlier. Okay, so okay, that's like okay. So let's go to the actual chapter. For purposes.
Okay.
The American states established by this charter the international organization that they have developed to achieve in order to peace and justice, to promote their solidarity, to strengthen their collaboration and defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity and their independence within the United Nations. The Organization of American States is a regional agency. The Organization of American States has no powers other than those expressly conferred upon by this charter. None of those provisions authorize it to intervene in matters that are within internal jurisdiction of the member states. So here, as I said, even though it's an international agreement, but the politics within the state, they can't get involved with that. So I'll read it again. The Organization of the United States has no powers other than those expressly conferred upon it by this charter, none of whose provisions authorize it to intervene in matters that are within the internal jurisdiction of the member states. So
that takes me to like the Pope, like, you know, when they be doing all that stuff, and then, you know, they like nobody can like kind of get to them because they're like in their own little state.
So, and once again, Black's Law Dictionary, fourth edition, we know what a state is. Group of people bound together by common law, and that common law is the Constitution and the treaty, and the treaty is a constitution of the same nationality of people, like the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States. So that's an example. And then when those people organize a body, that's a state. And we just read that the Organization of American States, we know, Morocco is America. So any political organization that's formed by the true Americans is called a state.
Right.
And we just read off some of the states: Brazil, Colombia, right? We just read off a couple of them.
Right.
So, the Khalifa Society, a state, right?
Yes.
So.
Ooh. Wait, did you hear my echo? Can you? Okay, never mind. As I responded, it's like an echo. Okay, so this is the number. Okay, so this was the description of it, and what was so basically this is the organ. So this is still an official document because they created the charter.
It's an agreement. It's a binding agreement that the United States is part of. Basically, that they will fulfill the allowing the sovereignty of American states. Now the collectiveness of it is under the charter, but as you can see, just in the first and second paragraph, already is talking de jure talk or uh, common law or divine talk already. Once it's talking about not interfering in internal matters of the states. So far, so good. And like I say, this is the first time I read this, but so far, it's looking like it's in harmony. You know,
Yeah, with the treaty, with
right.
the treaty,
With the treaty,
So,
international law, positive law.
mhm. So, would you say that this could be also used as a part of a like a lawsuit against the United States to show that you have in violation, you violated this by doing what you did to the Indians and then for to us?
Uh, well, you wouldn't go the Indian route, but you would say you could use this and the rights of indigenous people.
Or I meant the right. That's what I meant. The rights of indigenous people. Would you be able to use this against the courts? I mean, then I mean, use this charter as violation to show that the United States did that.
Right. You would use this and another document, binding rights of indigenous people is another international document similar to this. So we could use both of those as saying they violated this contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, they violated this contract. And and another contract, the Constitution.
And the Constitution. Okay. Yes.
So look at all those things like contracts that have been violated. It's a breach, or it's a tort. It's called a tort. And when you file a lawsuit, it's like boxes you can check. But yeah, we'll go.
I was looking at. Let's see. Do you know who Abdullah is? I forgot. He's with Taj now. His name is Abdullah, and he did a YouTube yesterday, and I caught it not yesterday, but a couple of days ago. And I caught him, but he was on some really good stuff. He broke down the basic concept of how to understand the treaty and how it really is what we need to stand on and the truth of it. The way he was breaking it down, he was just basically was getting drilling in our heads in his teachings that we need to look at the treaty as our what does he call it, lion's coat, like lioness coat, like in Charlie Brown, the little guy who walks around sucking his thumb, pulling and dragging that blanket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that character? Well, the symbolism of that blanket is that he needed to have that. That was his security blanket. Like I'm gonna drag this blanket everywhere I go, and I have it up with me. But we need to look at the treaty as that is our lioness blanket. And if it didn't say it in the treaty, then that means it's not for us. It's not supposed to be for us. Like he gave an example of in the treaty, it does not say that Moors need to have a driver's license.
Right.
It's not in the treaty. So that's your blanket. It's not in the treaty that it says that the United States will have control over your children to go to school and give them shots. He was giving all kind of examples. It's
Right.
not in the treaty. So he says if you just can wrap that treaty around you and walk that treaty every day, you will stay conscious of who you really are and how they are just violating you all the way in every way, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just using an example. It sunk in my head even more. So that was just an example that sunk with me that I just was sharing because it seemed like that. If you put it in their perspective, it's like, man, okay, I kind of get it now. I really see the importance of that treaty and how it really is a part of me, of who I am, of who I'm saying I am. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you look at documents like we're looking at this document that you're showing now. It's a charter, and if we go back to okay, it's a charter. This is still the United States is doing some things, and these are the laws they have to abide by. Okay, well look at the treaty. These are the laws you need to abide by as well.
Right.
So if you're violating anything if it's not in order, then you're in violation.
Right.
You're just outright in violation, and it's becoming so obvious that everything they're doing is in violation to that they're really digging a hole. The United States is really starting to dig a hole for themselves. And
Yeah.
then we're gonna come out, powerful because we're gonna have all these countries are gonna be on our side, wanting to fight for us because we're standing on the truth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have to keep buying. It's just tumbling now, you know?
this is the treaty. It's the treaty right here.
Wow.
Between Morocco and the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that think, oh, they're talking about North Africa and the Kingdom of Morocco over there.
Hmm.
Nope. Because the Kingdom of Morocco was created in 1956, and this treaty was in 1787.
1787.
So this clearly we're talking about the empire.
Mm-hmm.
And then kingdoms are within empire, so that's part of the empire over there. So that's not just Morocco over there. And then, if for people that think we're just talking about North Africa, Article 16 of the treaty, it talks about in case of a war between the parties, the prisoners are not to be made slaves, but to be exchanged one for another, captain for captain, officer for officer, and one private man for another. And if there shall prove to be a deficiency on either side, it shall be made up by the payment of 100 Mexican dollars. So we're definitely not talking about North Africa over there. We're talking about on this landmass over here, right?
Right.
Right, Mexico. All right, so for each person, so I just wanted to read that because a lot of people that'll be like, oh, I even heard that in court. The DA was like, are you talking about the Kingdom of Morocco? Like he'd know what it was, but they'll play games like that, to try to slip you up and test your competency.
Oh, so yeah, we bring them right back on this side when we say Mexican dollars.
Yeah, right. We're talking about right here on this continent.
Right, right. Come on back on this side, like.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they try to when they try to go over there, we talk about the Mexican dollars. So where you at?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then another thing, Article 20. We got 1 minute left, but pretty much this is dealing with civil. This is dealing with criminal. Article 20 and 21. Now as you can see, any disputes between a Moor or a citizen of the United States, right? So it's two separate nations of people. We're not U.S. citizens. The consul shall be present. And that is in harmony with Article 3 and Article 6 of the Constitution, where it says the ambassadors or any disputes from people from two different states, Supreme Court has at federal level, because we're dealing with treaties, and also says any treaties is the law of the land as well as a constitution, or any previous contracts and agreements. All that's in Article 3 and Article 6. And Article 6, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution, so that's how it all sticks. But I think we got
Islam, I'm gonna say goodnight. I'm Islam. Okay, thank you. We'll talk. We'll focus more on this later again. I'm gonna see you later, Miss Ebony. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
You guys have a beautiful night.
All right. Good night.
Islam.